Greetings! Welcome!
Yeah. This is Stu.
This is Jay.
And this is Riders of the Dawn. We are going to talk about getting out of an amateur mindset today. We were going to talk about Wheel of Time. We'll talk about that tomorrow.
We'll talk about it tomorrow.
This will be our last commuting video. So this is the second to last one. And this is just what was on our mind, so we thought we'd talk about it. This is something, talk about the amateur mindset. Amateur mindset is basically a mindset without significant goals in mind, and it's also a self-deprecating mindset.
Yeah.
And it's one that you got to get yourself out of regardless of what you're doing or what profession you're in. If you are an auto mechanic, you got to get out of the amateur mindset of like, well, I just want to hang out and work on cars. Like, no, I want to be good at this and be successful and have my business and whatever it's going to be.
The biggest thing to realize, and the thing is, I don't think it's the first thing to change, but it's the most important thing to change.
Yeah,
is to realize that you have your time is valuable, and no matter how much you like doing something, other people ought to value your work doing that.
Yeah.
So this whole idea that like, oh, you should play music because you love it, not because you get paid. It's like, get out. Just that's a valueless statement. And in a place where, I mean, music is finally in a place now where people can independently produce things and do things on their own, that you need to value your own work. Nobody who works as hard as authors and musicians work should expect nothing for their efforts. Because I'm going to tell you, after 10 years working in the music industry, like busting my ass day in and day out, working like 4 jobs at a time, and 2 of those being like gigging groups, like you don't sleep and you don't get paid very much, but the notion that someone could come up to you and say, oh, hey, you want to come play at my party?
Let's go
jam. And I'm like, you want to jam? Let's
tell me about it. It's like, someone's like, let's go jam. It's like, tell me about your group.
Tell me about your group. Yeah.
Well, what do you mean my group? Well, I don't know. I thought we'd just hang out and jam. It's like, well, what's your goals? What's your group? What style is it in? Who's playing with you? And they're like, I don't have any of that. It's like, okay, well, why?
Tell me when you do.
Tell me when you have an idea, and maybe it's something that I can contribute to, and it will be successful. Or maybe it's something I'll pass on and give your number to somebody else who wants to do that. Because like this would happen so many times. I mean, and I made this video a while back called like why I quit playing classical guitar. A lot of people kind of misinterpreted some of the things I said. They were like, okay, it's way better when you can make music and you just don't have to worry about money. I'm like, that's true. I'm making music for me, and I like that feeling, that approach. But that's not, to me, making music for free, or that that I don't like money. I was in the music industry for 10 years playing the same crap, and I got tired of doing that same crap. Which is why I don't do it anymore, right? And so everybody does that. You get burned out of whatever constant thing you do. If you're a freaking aeronautical engineer and you've just been working on the same like wing foil design, that's your job. Design a wing foil for this new plane. So you're just like designing wings. You're just like, I'm so tired of designing wings. I want to design rockets. Yeah. And so you start your own business. You leave and you do something different. It's just like that, right? The point is that it's nothing evil to like want to make money doing music or anything else, but you have to have the mindset that like you're worth somebody. You have something that is worthwhile. Not only that, but that you are actually trying to make something for the market that the market wants. That's a part of that, getting out of the amateur mindset. And for me, the biggest thing where it really came to me that my time was valuable was someone proposed this exact thing. Hey man, you want to come and jam? And I basically gave the same spiel. What are you guys doing? What's it like? Da 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 da. The same response. It's this canned response. Oh, I don't know. I just thought we'd drink beers and jam. And I said to the guy, I was like, listen, man, my free time consists of the 6 hours that I sleep. Is me jamming with you more valuable than that? The answer is no. Like, I just, your time is filled up with stuff because you want to be filling up your time with value. Yeah, if and your time is valuable, you need to be doing valuable things. Yeah, especially in Vegas, man, we were up till like 5 a.m. every night. And it was one of these things that's like, we were rehearsing and stuff in the middle of the night, and somebody like, let's hang out and jam. And like, you let yourself get socially pressured into doing that, and you get there and you're like, this is such a waste of my time. Why am I not at the gym right now?
Yeah.
You know, it's like I gave up gym nights to go like satisfy other people's little egos about believing that they were good at music and that they could jam and have a good time. And it's like, man, I could be lifting right now and improving myself. Yeah. And that's like, you look at all the alternatives, and you're just like, every single alternative is me improving myself or enjoying myself more than this.
Yeah.
And I don't enjoy showing up and just playing with other people. That is a joy from the amateur level. Yeah. I enjoyed that when I was 15, 16.
Yeah.
By the time I was 18, I was gigging. And by the time you get to the level that you're gigging, you're playing music for money. You don't want to show up to anything that doesn't have an end goal in mind.
Yeah.
Just like you wouldn't show up to a job that isn't going to pay you.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, hey, you come and you do all this work for us. We're a startup, but maybe if we're successful, maybe I'll give you some money.
Yeah. What about the part where we all just love music? It's like, I don't know. Apply that to anything else.
Yeah. Anything.
You're like, hey, you want to come over to my house and design a plane? And it's like, no. Why not? What about the joy of designing aeronautical rockets and stuff?
If you're our age, you probably understand the frustration of a parent calling and saying, my computer's messed up. Can you come fix it? Can't you just work on it because you love computers? It's like,
no. So and more anecdotes as they illustrate a lot. So I'd go play a gig, right? And so I've done this a bunch of times. Like, I'd quit a band at some point because I was going to do something different that was more like either more profitable to my styles. And I'd get a call back from and stay friends with, obviously, like, these are still my business relations. And they're like, hey, can you come fill in on this gig? I'm like, okay, I'll go fill in on the gig. And I'll go play the gig. And people will be like, oh, dude, you were really, really good. I'm like, yeah, I'm filling in for them. This will be after the gig. And be like, oh, dude, you should come jam with us. You should come play bass for us. And I'd be like, no. I'm like, what? Yeah, I'm like, what kind of style do you do? And they're like, oh, well, it's rock. And if somebody responds with rock, I'm like, you don't know what you're doing. Like, if your response to the style is we play rock, I don't know. It's like, what? Hey, hey, what's your? It's like asking classical music. Hey, what's your favorite period to play? And they're like, oh, common practice. It's like, so anything from the 14th century until now. That's pretty broad. Can you be more specific?
Yeah.
That's like rock. Like, rock music includes everything from Michael Jackson to, if you want to stretch it, Morbid Angel.
Yeah. Well,
what is it?
Yeah.
What is it?
Because at one point, rock was pop. So a lot of pop is taken from rock. And so, it's... If we take this to writing, because this is, after all, a Star Trek fan fiction podcast, in writing, if you're really into writing stories and you want to be writing, I'm gonna say you have a passion for it. You probably like doing it a lot. You like writing stories, but do you like writing stories enough to write 4 books a year for free?
For a while.
And have nobody read them. And not only have nobody read them, but just have them sitting on your hard drive. Like, is that something that interests you? Is that something that interests you? Because let me tell you, you can do that, and nobody will care.
Yeah.
If you call yourself an author, and that's what you say, people are gonna say, oh, you're an author, huh? Oh, how do you make money? Oh, you're a teacher.
Here's another anecdote. I love Vegas was such a great learning experience about life.
Yes.
And I'd learned a lot of lessons prior to that, but getting out in the dating scene in Vegas, this is before I was dating my wife, right? I'd be talking to a girl or whatever, and she'd be like, what do you do? I'd be like, I'm a musician. And I do this and that. And I play gigs, right? And I'll be kind of explaining my business, because that's, I'm like, okay, most people don't understand like what goes into the music business.
They don't understand that you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah, it's my business. And then it's like, she's like, okay. And then I'm like, okay. And then I, during the day, I'll have my private studio where I teach my students guitar, and they're like, oh, you're a teacher. And then they like, all of a sudden they're like 100 times more interested in you, because women, okay, I don't want to generalize women, but like in my experience, women were not interested in me being a musician. So this like old idea that like chicks dig guitar players, I don't know, either not the ones that I knew, or that's just not true. And the thing is, people can't relate to that, and they can't view it as something that you do professionally.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And so like, especially if you're over the age of like 19, the women that you meet are interested in what your life is like. They're not interested in, I play guitar. I play guitar in this band, and about twice a year we go play a gig for free. Oh, it's so cool! I love watching you play guitar. That doesn't happen, dude. It's like, oh yeah, I play guitar in a band. They're like, is that all you do? Like, what's your day job? And they'd be like, oh yeah, I'm an auto mechanic. It's like, well, that's great. Tell me about your auto mechanic.
I only have to wear my retainer at night now.
It's like, why is this woman not interested in my music? It's like, well, she's more interested in what your actual life is like. How about that? She's not quite so interested in your little hobby, considering she's trying to establish her own life. And is this a person that I want to marry and have children with? You have no future. I'm gonna say no.
Hey, I'm gonna say goodbye. Thanks for the drink.
Fare thee well. Right? And I don't know, somebody somewhere is gonna like take all that out of context and say that like I think women are like gold digging whores or something like that. No. Because that's just not it. It's just not it. It's not at all. They're more interested.
Amateur mindset.
It's the amateur mindset.
Because anytime you talk to somebody and you open with like, yeah, my band, it's like my roads. Like I just all you're saying is all you're really saying is that I really like doing this thing, and what other people hear is that's a hobby. Yeah. And it's really hard. The way you convince people that it's not a hobby is by doing things. So if people meet you at a gig, they're going to be much more likely to think that that's what you do.
Yeah, I used to go to all these parties, and they'd be like, why are you always wearing a suit? I'm like, well, I just came from a gig. Yeah. And they're like, wait, you actually do this for a living? I'd be like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That was
what I
frustrating.
Do.
That was frustrating because you're just like...
No one believes it, because and it's also other people's attitude. You're going to encounter this if you're ever trying to do anything really good with your life. They're like, people who've known you for a long time just assume you're not good at what you're doing, because they've known you as an amateur and they can't perceive you as a professional. So it's like, yeah, well, of course Matt isn't a good author because I don't know any good authors. It's like this reflexive justification. It's like, he's not good because I don't know any good ones. Yeah. It's like, well, no. You just haven't seen. You weren't around to witness the growth, and you weren't aware of the growth.
And it's also a reflection of I haven't been able to do anything great. Therefore, this person can't do anything great.
Yeah, because I'm an average guy, I can't know any people who aren't average guys. And the thing is, like, if you're a successful author, you're not making like hand over fist kind of money. You're making the same money that most middle class people are going to make if you're a really successful author. It's not like you're rich. It's just like you're successful in doing this thing that's different from what other people do. That's all it is. And it's the same in music. I never like raked in the money. I did okay. There were periods in my life where I did really well, but it wasn't
there's dry times.
It's like, well, people have this idea that the only successful authors are Stephen King and J.K. Rowling, and the only successful musicians are Metallica and Backstreet Boys or something, right? I don't know who's...
No, that's good. That works.
Justin Bieber, right? Like, the only successful musicians are these people who make millions of dollars a year, and there's no one else that they can even conceive of being, like, making $70,000 a year and being really successful. Yeah. Like, that's really successful. There's touring bands who are big and sell 100,000 records and break up because they can't make a middle-class income on it. Yeah. You have to be really successful. And
you have to be beyond successful especially to work in the legacy music industry.
Oh yeah, legacy music industry is really hard to make a dime.
Yeah, you've got to be Metallica or Justin Bieber to do that, which is the 1/1000th of a percent of musicians.
Yeah.
You know,
but if you're doing your own thing, if you're playing gigs, you know, you're serving the market. Like I played corporate gigs. I played at restaurants. You're serving a market. Yeah, you could totally find success, but you have to be serving a market.
Yeah, and that's the issue that amateurs have, is they don't understand that you're serving a market. They think, oh, I'm an artist, I'm like Van Gogh or something, I got to starve for my art.
I think, well, I always think there's a balance point where it's like, what am I really good at? What do I really want to do? And what am I really good at doing? And how do I find the people who want me to do that?
Yeah.
And like, what do I need to adjust to get better at what I'm doing to give people what they want? Because if it's like, I want to be a fantasy album. Okay. I really want to be good at writing fantasy, and I really want to write fantasy that people like, and I really enjoy writing fantasy. All those things go together. But maybe there's an adjustment somewhere that's like, oh, you know, I need to not have these elements because these elements people don't like. And then if they're critical to a story, obviously that's an artistic upset. But if it's like, oh, you know, that's not that big a deal. Like if I have a bunch of stuff in a story about like super realistic armor, that may be boring to people, and it may be something I need to cut, even though I'm an armor snob and I'm like an armor pedant, and I really want to write about that stuff. Like I had a scene in Muramasa where like the sword is literally being forged. As I'm writing it, I'm like, because the market is Japanese fiction, I think people are going to be interested in having a clear couple scenes about a sword being forged and how it was historically made.
Yeah.
But when I put that same scene
in like a pulp urban fantasy,
no, hell no, because people are like, why is this scene about this guy hammering all this steel? What's this about? Like, why do I care? It's like, they're not going to care.
Why isn't he telling me jokes right now?
Yeah, so you just, you leave that element out, and you just learn to do things better.
But but the thing I think is the biggest problem is that nobody, the scale is not weighed on the other side. People don't even start to consider the market until they're 45 and they're like, man, I own like 6 Les Pauls, but I don't do anything.
Yeah.
Well, of course, and they spent all their money on Les Pauls and they're basically homeless. But like
got the Les Paul and the Marshall half stack and the Harley in the garage. Drive the Honda to work.
Drive the Honda to work from my parents' basement. Like, so you're just like, oh, me and my bros, we get together on Saturday night and we jam, and sometimes we go and play at this bar, but like we don't really get a big reception because we play
nothing but Tool covers.
Yeah.
We love Tool, and we decided we'd be a Tool cover band. So why doesn't anyone want to watch us be a Tool cover band?
In Portland.
Yeah. I was thinking back to writing. So the amateur mindset with writers really creeps up a lot. One of the ways that I'm starting to run out of time, so let me think about how quickly I can do this. One of the ways that writers express the amateur mindset is by writing fan fiction, and there's nothing wrong with fan fiction if that's what you're really into doing. But a lot of times people write fan fiction because they feel completely not confident about their own ideas. You have to explore your own ideas for a while before you get really good at refining them and understanding how to write with them. So a lot of times people that would be good writers hide within fan fiction or think that somehow it's going to like propel them into success the way that it did like
Stephanie Meyers.
No, whoever wrote.
Okay, yeah.
50 Shades. 50 Shades was originally Twilight fan fiction.
Yeah.
But like that's not a good place to hide out. It's just you're kind of like trying to mitigate possibilities of failure.
Yeah.
And that's not a good mindset. You want to subject yourself to the possibility of failure at all time, because that's how you refine your product and get better at what you're doing.
Yeah, and that's a life lesson for every single person everywhere. Is the more you mitigate failure. If your goal is to not fail, you will never succeed.
Yeah, your goal should be to succeed. Failure is always a risk.
And honestly, you need to allow yourself to fail. is so important. And this is an issue that I take with school nowadays is there's no risk of failure.
Yeah.
There's zero risk of failure.
And if you're a teacher and you fail, your student's failing, it just makes more work for you. There's a huge disincentive to give people actual failing grades, even if they deserve it or they really need to improve what they're doing. And that's just how the mindset is. Everyone should pass. Everyone should succeed. And we wonder why the high school diploma doesn't mean what it used to mean.
Yeah.
So
I think when you're talking about writing and you think about fan fiction, and I'm aware of these Tumblr boards that are just like writing prompts, and I want to write on these writing prompts because I feel like it gives me a lot of practice and this and that, and I understand that you want to practice your craft, but you got to practice your craft on
what you want to do.
So yeah, it's the same as being a musician and all you do is sit in the practice room. If you spend your life in the practice room,
you'll never do what you want to do.
Did you ever actually practice? That's the question. If a tree falls in the forest, no one and it doesn't.
Here's the last thing too, like writing groups and stuff. If you find a writing group of people that could be like a great way to support each other, possibly. However, ultimately, you're probably writing different stuff for different markets, and that's going to be of limited use once you ascend out of that amateur mindset and get to the professional level. What you ideally want to do is you really want to be working with readers.
Yeah, because authors are not readers.
Authors are not readers, and so it's fine. Like there's nothing wrong if you have this sort of mindset, but you just want to have a growth mindset too, and look to, how do I move towards doing this for real? Well, you have to shift your mindset to where I'm doing this for real. That's my goal, and my process is contributing to that goal every day. Yeah. And then you're going to find yourself really doing it. And that's a great feeling.
It's scary, but man, let me tell you, the feeling is the best one in the world. So that's it for us today.
All right. You guys have a great day, or don't. You can find me at dvspress.com, davidvstewart.com.
You can find me at matthewjwellman.com.
And we will see you next time.